Ubisoft is pretty much 100% dead. Their games are bad, no one likes them, their finances are in the gutter, and hell, it's getting worse. And I love that, and you should too.
To talk about what's happening with Ubisoft, where their situation's getting way worse by the minute, and also they are getting insanely desperate, as we're going to cover today.
I love the smell of desperation in the morning.
Not only have they acknowledged the buyout rumors surrounding Tencent gobbling up Ubisoft and how they're exploring as many options as possible, but we're also going to get into what's happening with Assassin's Creed. And when it rains, it may pour, because holy smokes, are there a lot of Assassin's Creed games on the way. I still enjoy a good Assassin's Creed game every now and again, but that's because Ubisoft made it infrequent after doing annual releases. Now it looks like we may be getting like 3 within a year span between Shadows, this new full-fledged mobile title, and then a Black
calling a mobile title of an Assassin's Creed game. See, Matty, this is why everyone calls you a shill, okay? This is the reason, because you're saying, oh my god, a mobile game? It's so great. No, it's stupid. It's stupid. Everyone thinks it's stupid. You should feel bad. It's stupid. No one wants mobile games. No one wants a mobile Assassin's Creed. No one wants a mobile Diablo. You should feel bad. You should call it stupid. You should say, Ubisoft, you need to not release it because it's bad.
Black Flag remake, which is on the horizon and much closer than you may expect. All of this is happening while Ubisoft's stock price plummets. It did see a small bump up to $15 per share, or around that price point, before falling once more. That was because of the buyout rumors surrounding Tencent, and when Ubisoft responded, a lot of people are getting the feeling it's not happening anytime immediately, probably in a post-Shadows world. So a lot of...
Yeah, I told this. It's not going to happen now, because why would it? If Tencent wants to buy Ubisoft out, they just need to wait until Shadows releases, and they can probably get it on a 50% discount, okay? That's what's gonna happen.
Folks stopped buying in and probably sold off quickly. But Ubisoft, in their acts of desperation, have started to do things like, say, bring their games to Steam. And so that means that a lot of PC gamers are winning. And hey, do you know anything about Apex? Let's talk about them real quick. PC gamers have been collecting a lot of W's, and I got one more for you. Right now, Apex...
No. Just giant,
again,
no.
Link down below if you want to check 25% off. Use the code PARTNERS25. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about Ubisoft and these buyout rumors. As I had predicted, which wasn't like a big, bold prediction at all, I was like, Tencent's no doubt going to start sniffing around. And that was reported by Bloomberg, and now Ubisoft has responded to said buyout rumors directly to Eurogamer, who asked the question. So let's check out their article here, titled...
Dude, none of this Tencent buyout Ubisoft stuff, man.
Ubisoft acknowledges buyout...
I talked about it so much. And there are people who are saying, no, this is why it makes sense, but there are clear problems. There was one actually like five lines long post that someone commented about why it does make sense. And it wasn't bad, but there were 2 major problems with
buyout reports stating it,
which made it not untrue. Didn't respond to it, but you know, there are people who are saying, no, this does make sense. Tencent investing into Ubisoft when the share prices were above $30, and now it collapsing and their investment going literally up in flames, it all makes sense, Quasar. It does. It just does. No, none of this makes sense.
Regularly reviews options. Today, Ubisoft shared a statement regarding this report with Eurogamer. Ubisoft has noted recent press speculation regarding potential interest around the company. The company wrote, it regularly reviews all its strategic options in the interest of its stakeholders and will inform the market if and when appropriate. The company reiterates that management is currently focused on...
AKA, they have no obligation to do anything. That's a nice sentence.
Executing its strategy centered on 2 core verticals: open world adventures and games as a service native experiences. So there is not a whole lot to read into here other than what I think is a pretty blatant acknowledgement of Ubisoft is having talks with Tencent about a potential buyout or possibly going private. They are investigating all options because the situation is...
Why? Why the fuck would Ubisoft... It's a buyout! Ubisoft doesn't talk to Tencent about it. Tencent talks to others about it. That's not how buyouts work. Ubisoft doesn't have the ability to be like, okay, Tencent, you want to buy us out? Now listen here, buckaroo. No, that's not how it happens. That's not how anything happens.
It's become real. The stock price has been plummeting for a while. They are a dying company. They need to take action sooner than later. But as I said in my last Ubisoft video, I do feel like they are trying to hold out as best they can until Assassin's Creed Shadows to hopefully give them a little more life. As we'll talk about.
What the hell? Excuse me, what's happening? Assassin's Creed Shadows, when it drops, is gonna tank Ubisoft's share price even more. Again, this is why I'm saying Tencent just needs to wait until Assassin's Creed Shadows drops, and then congratulations, bam, 50% discount probably.
With the slew of Assassin's Creed titles coming up, they are banking heavily on this series to pull them out of the spot they are in.
And every single gamer knows it ain't happening, Chief. Every single gamer has already looked at Assassin's Creed and said, yeah, no, this is horrible. I'm not gonna buy it. This looks shit on every level.
And they are hoping that Assassin's Creed fans are gonna show up en masse because,
like, look at this gameplay even. It's just so ass. Look at this.
And they are hoping that
gets hit with a giant thing. Armor bar gets slightly depleted. Well, why are there sparks flying off of him? That armor is probably not actually metal, by the way. It's probably wood. And this weapon is definitely made out of wood. Fully wood, in fact. There's not a single metallic piece on it, most likely. Why the hell is wood contacting wood making sparks? And how is there no impact? You understand this thing is pretty heavy, right? But no, we're Ubisoft. God damn it. All the developers should be gathered in a room, and then we would just remove them one from existence through any means necessary or condemned fun at that moment by asking them basic physics questions. Okay? Because sooner or later with these losers working in the games industry, everything is gonna be Star Wars, the Acolyte, roaring campfires in space, and flammable space stone. Everything, because it's just stupid.
Assassin's Creed fans are gonna show up en masse because, quite frankly, outside of maybe the occasional little game here or there, it looks like that is where Ubisoft is turning their attention to. A lot of
the classic honor crushing of a skull. Beautiful Japanese history.
Assassin's Creed games. But Tencent's floating around, and as I said in my last video on Ubisoft as well, I don't think people want this. I know Ubisoft isn't a great company, but if you think the monetization is bad, the quality is bad now, I don't think Tencent's going to help that out at all, and if anything, potentially make it worse as they cut more corners. But I talked a lot about Assassin's Creed, what's coming up on the docket. I want to get into that because that's where the conversation gets really interesting on just how far Ubisoft is going. Like I mentioned, 3 Assassin's Creed games within a year, potentially, if you include Shadows, Jade, as well as Black Flag Remake. So let's take a look here at a lot of reports coming in from Insider Gaming. This first one says, Assassin's Creed Black Flag Remake is closer than you think. It's there they write, when rumors of Assassin's Creed Black Flag Remake began to circulate on the internet, many, including ourselves, assumed that the game would still be some years away from releasing. However, new details and documentation on the game sent to Insider Gaming under the condition that it does not go public suggest that the game is well into development and could be released much sooner than we all thought. In fact, prior to the recent Assassin's Creed
Wanna bet it's a buggy mess that no one wants to play at the end? My money's on that.
Shadows delay, which is understood to have affected the Assassin's Creed pipeline of content releases, the Assassin's Creed Black Flag Remake, codenamed Obsidian, was to be released around November 2025, which would be around the same time the series multiplayer offering Code Invictus is to be released. Insider Gaming understands that this is part of Ubisoft's ramp-up strategy for the Assassin's Creed series, which will see 10 Assassin's Creed titles of various lengths and experiences released.
This is actually such a stupid idea. Whoever thought of this is a complete moron. But honestly, I would probably also... Okay, listen. If I was a business analyst at Ubisoft, I would probably also offer this plan to Ubisoft. And I would offer it fully well knowing that this is going to kill the company. Because I'm not interested in the company. I'm interested in myself. And this plan in my portfolio, you know what it would do? It would effectively summarize, created a new business strategy for the company to create more products in the pipeline and get better monetary returns and things like that. Extend the lifespan of already existing products. This on a CV is perfect. This is fucking gold. But in real life, this is horrible because you look at this. Because anyone who offers this as a solution to Ubisoft's troubles and hurdles is either an idiot or they just wanted something fancy in their portfolio to go work in a different company on. Because this plan, I don't know, for example, for me to know that this plan is going to be an absolute disaster just requires the knowledge of knowing that Assassin's Creed titles have been selling lower and lower and lower and lower and lower and lower every release for like a couple, like 10 years now at this point. So, oversaturating your Assassin's Creed title with multiple games when interest in the game is already dropping, this is just gonna make everything worse. Yes, this will make more money, and that's why it looks good on your CV, but this is gonna kill the company. This is literally a strategy to kill the company.
In the next 5 years. This includes Assassin's Creed codenamed Jade, a full-fledged mobile offering with a tentative date of Q2 2025. Unfortunately, though, the recent Assassin's Creed Shadow delay, which Mark Alexis Cote said to staff in an internal email will also impact the rest of the Assassin's Creed roadmap, may have skewed these dates a little bit.
Wait, what do you fucking mean Q2 but fiscal year quarter 1 to 26? The fuck is their plan with this? Huh, that's interesting.
That being said, to some, the Black Flag remake is probably coming a few years earlier than some of us may have expected. Gameplay sent to Insider Gaming of the Black Flag remake under the condition that it does not go public shows Edward Kenway sailing a ship on the upgraded Anvil engine. This is a very interesting development because I
upgraded Anvil engine. Oh, that's so dumb.
I think that is one of the projects that sort of rests as something a lot of Assassin's Creed fans would be interested in because it for many serves as like a last bastion of great Assassin's Creed content. For me, it was really with Unity and Syndicate. Like that's to me where I started to really detach from the franchise in a big way until Odyssey kind of roped me back in. I imagine this is closer than we expect because of Skull and Bones. That is just a prediction on my part. I think when you look at Skull and Bones, the big question.
Oh God, look at Skull and Bones. It's so good.
He asked with that game and why it even exists at all is because you just may as well make Black Flag again or do a new entry in that series somehow. I don't know, but you kind of have the pirate game there. So I imagine a lot of resources and assets were shared between these two games. They do share an engine as well. That is my prediction, is that that game just kind of got out the door to recoup as much cost as they could. They already knew it was going to be a failure, that most of that stuff was going to get poured right into a Black Flag remake, which is why, as great as it sounds, I do find it to be a very random remake. Like when I look at games from the Assassin's Creed lineup that I think need a remake, I look at 1 even. You know, I think 2 holds a lot of value in people's heart. I'm not advocating for it, more so because I know it's a classic video game, but definitely if you're trying to stoke the fires of interest, I look at 2 as like the moment that this series really won our hearts. Ubisoft won our hearts. Obviously for everyone it differs from game to game because its entry is so far spanning with so many titles to play. Your answer may differ from mine. I love Assassin's Creed 3 after Sequence 6, and I would have loved to see an actual remake of that where they kind of, you know, fix how the story is paced out, where maybe you can explore the open world a little sooner. So to me, Assassin's Creed 4 has aged remarkably well, where I never really pegged it as a remake target, but I imagine because of what's happening with Skull and Bones, it just made this.
Remake targets are just games that are probably gonna sell well. This is why they're remaking games that are still kind of almost hot off the shelf and no one's really asking for. For example, The Last of Us. Who the hell is asking for a Last of Us remake? Literally no one. No one.
this the easier remake where you could lower the amount of investment and just focus on making content, really, because a lot of the art stuff, at least, could have been ahead of the game. I don't know. Again, just a educated guess, if anything here. But what you also see inside this report is the absolutely stunning number of 10 Assassin's Creed games in various lengths and experiences released in the next 5 years. And they also mentioned here that there is Invictus, which is a multiplayer offering on top of course, Assassin's Creed Shadows. We have Assassin's Creed Shadows co-op mode, Jade, the Black Flag remake. So that is 5 Assassin's Creed experiences packed into potentially 1 year, and that's accounting for the delay. If you start with Assassin's Creed Shadows, which got moved back a handful of months, and you move everything else back a handful of months, I still think all that can fit in that year and a half window, and it's gonna get oversaturated again. And that's just like, that was the problem in the first place with Ubisoft. But again, it speaks to the desperate spot they are in, that this is what they need to do to stay afloat. They go in on Assassin's Creed, which is effectively their cash cow. I'm curious what happens with series like Far Cry. I'm curious what happens with series like Splinter Cell, which people...
Is Far Cry not completely dead at this point, honestly? I don't know. Do people care about Far Cry after me? Not sure.
People have wanted to come back for a while. I feel like the problem with Ubisoft oversaturation is it kills the enthusiasm of the other products it's connected to, because none of their series have been able to create an identity of their own because they all share so many elements. So if like an open world in Assassin's Creed is bad, it's likely going to bleed into Far Cry, and it's a
Well, that is actually true because, you know, every game is the same. There's no difference, honestly, from Far Cry from Assassin's Creed almost at this point. One has guns, I guess, and that's literally it. But, you know, throw Star Wars Outlaws into the mix, they're all the same game at that point. It just blends together because they're all made on the same exact sloppy tactics, okay?
Pounding, cascading effect that happens game after game. So this is a pretty big risk for them, in my opinion. This is a really big investment, and it's really what led to people being fatigued with Ubisoft, is the consistent annual open world releases. Now, I know they're talking about different lengths and experiences and all that stuff. One's multiplayer, one's mobile. Like, I probably won't touch these games, but generally speaking, it's a lot of Assassin's Creed. And it went from a series that you saw all the time to taking a little bit of a break, taking a year off, coming back year in, year out. And I think a lot of people developed a bit of a connection to the series again because it was something you could look forward to. Now we're going back into that well of, okay, here's a lot of Assassin's Creed coming your way. So I'll keep an open mind because I really do like Assassin's Creed, but yeah, it's going to be one of those situations potentially where back in the mid-2010s, I was just fading out because even though games like Syndicate were great, I was so tired of them because I was seeing them all the time that I ended up not enjoying it as much as I really should have. So that's what's going on with Assassin's Creed, but there's more crumbling at Ubisoft potentially in what's happening with Rainbow Six, as Insider Gaming also reports Vice President of Rainbow Six Cameron Lee has left Ubisoft. They write Cameron Lee joined the Rainbow Six brand in April of 2022 after working as Vice President of...
Is Rainbow Six Siege the only thing that's kind of functional at Ubisoft currently, honestly? I don't follow Rainbow Six Siege, but it's kind of popular. Is it not popular anymore? What's happening there? I don't know.
Production at Activision, but had previously had over 20 years of experience as a producer, manager, and VP at companies including EA, Bungie, and BioWare, and has worked on franchises like Tony Hawk, Call of Duty, and Dragon Age. Following the announcement to join the Rainbow Six franchise, Ubisoft said that Lee will be responsible for creating the long-term brand strategy for the Rainbow Six franchise and aligning and collaborating with all internal partners. It's unclear why Lee decided to leave the franchise and the company, but an internal email sent to staff reads, for the time being, the role of VP and executive producer for the Rainbow Six brand will not be replaced. It's a very short time to be with the company, and now you could speculate one of two ways. One is saying that
I mean, he's probably jumping a sinking ship and doesn't want to be associated with the destruction of this company. You don't want to be doing that unless you're the CEO. Because again, remember, the world is a very simple place, boys. If you are a person who has never been a CEO, well, your chances of becoming a CEO are less than a guy who has been a CEO and has been exclusively named and shamed as the reason why a company went under. That person who made a company go under has a much better chance than you becoming a CEO of a company if it's a choice between the two of you. It's crazy, but it is what it is.
His job was done. He was there to make a long-term strategy. He formed it, created the roadmap, and boom, job's done. That's option one. Option two is you see how Ubisoft is crumbling. There's a lot of changes going on internally. We just learned about 10 Assassin's Creed games. That's the focus right now. Is that going to take something away from Rainbow Six? Does he see his job, his role diminishing over time? Does he move on to something else because of that? Who knows? Again, Rainbow Six is a big success. Siege is an awesome game. I haven't played it in years, so I don't know if it got worse or anything, but I played it a ton at
Well, Rainbow Six Siege does have a lot of LGBTQ plus things, and I hate PDF files. Don't know about you.
In its first 2 years of life and really enjoyed my time with it. It's actually one of the more unique Ubisoft experiences, which is something I hope they continue to pursue, because again, that game is awesome. I don't know where it stands right now personally, but I know the community is still pretty active with it, which was one of the bigger surprises. Is Siege was not supposed to be successful. I remember the reviews were kind of lukewarm for it, but it just gathered a player base that kept coming back more and more and more. So given the state of the company, it's easy to look at this and go, there might be a problem here. I'm going to keep that door open because there might be, but it's just something that you should be aware of. And right now, there are individuals from the Ubisoft family, we'll say, that are responding to said posts. One such was from a monetization director who did say that gamers are celebrating the downfall of Ubisoft, wishing ill toward these companies.
Definitely am. Don't let anyone misunderstand. I am enjoying the downfall of Ubisoft, Bethesda, hopefully soon Blizzard, because goddamn, I can't just live idly by with the fact that the current story is about a strong, independent Nido man, literally double crippled half-elf black woman, who's gonna tell the men how they should act because she knows better. Blizzard, just die, okay? Everyone's gonna be thankful at the end. We need a purge, and a purge we must get. And I will not be sad. I will not be shedding a tear for these people because they would not shed any for me. Anyway, that was Mr. Matty Plays. Ubisoft, please, just pack it up and leave. Bye.